There's no such thing as a free lunch. That is, unless you're a Utah lawmaker. There's something at the Utah legislature that's called the Third House, and that's a social arm for lawmakers. They coordinate meals and activities while legislators are in session. During this year's 45-day session, which concluded in March, lawmakers were treated to 79 free meals, snack breaks, and social activities, which were paid for by lobbyists, industry groups, companies, and special interest organizations. And many of those sponsors had business before the legislature. Through an open records request, I asked for a list of those activities and their sponsors from the legislature, but they told me it did not exist. I was able to obtain that list from legislative sources. This is just part of a new and troubling pattern that we're seeing from the Republican-controlled Utah legislature. When they don't want to give records to the media, they simply claim whatever it is we're looking for does not exist, and then that request is denied. The sponsors of these events don't have to disclose how much they spend, so long as a blanket invitation is given to lawmakers. One of the best attended events every year is the annual Utah League of Cities and Towns Convention. That's held at the Salt Palace. Lawmakers usually attend lunch for that. Transportation to and from the Salt Palace is provided by the League. Another example, the Salt Lake City Council sponsored 2 activities for lawmakers this year: a morning snack break and ice skating at the Gallivan Center. Additionally, lawmakers and their families were treated to a visit to the Natural History Museum, Clark Planetarium, Living Planet Aquarium, and Thanksgiving Point. There were also some very curious sponsors on the calendar this year. The Empowered Families Coalition, which is made up of several right-wing organizations, including the Arch-Conservative Utah Eagle Forum and Pro-Life Utah, they sponsored a free breakfast event for lawmakers this year. And Utah Parents United, which has loudly advocated for the school voucher program that lawmakers approved last year, provided morning snacks for legislators. This year, lawmakers nearly doubled the funding for that voucher program, which allows parents to use public money to pay for private schools or homeschooling, and that big increase in funding came even before the program had started. Now, legislators justify these freebies saying there's lots of demands for their time during the 45-day session, and these events are just a convenient way to engage with groups when they normally wouldn't have time for it. Additionally, they say the social events allow them to spend some time with their families during what is a very hectic schedule. What do you think about these free meals for lawmakers? And should these groups be allowed to use free food as a way to get face time with legislators? Let me know in the comments.